Let's talk about moving pigs. How are we gonna move them? You know, every kind of animal has a different herding and a different kind of moving instinct. The first thing to remember about pigs is that you can't run them around. Again, we talked about them being extremely smart, so they know if they're being chased. They know when they're being pushed, and if you start, running them around a pen, they will. They won't want to go where you want them to go. And remember, they have a very low center of gravity. So to them, with their poor eyesight, as we move amongst them, to them, our legs look like traffic cones. So imagine, if all you could see was, 24 inches high or less, people's legs running around would just look like a bunch of traffic cones moving. Oh, it's just a cool obstacle course, and so you can weave and bob and go through a bunch of traffic cones. You want to make sure that when you get ready to move them, you can restrict them, you can contain them, and so that means getting some crowd gates, pipe gates, wooden gates, just any kind of gates. Of course, we use the sort boards as well. We'll talk about those in another segment. But the point is that you're wanting to gradually move those pigs into a confined situation so that they don't just have this whole pen to run around in, because you can't chase a pig. That's the point. You can kind of chase a cow a little bit, but you can't chase a pig. They'll circle back around you and come around, and you'll lose your religion and have a heart attack before you ever get them loaded. So crowd gates are the answer, and fortunately with pigs they don't have to be very high. Something just 30 inches high is plenty high enough to be able to just gradually shepherd and move those pigs into a smaller spot. You can use baler twine to tie them together. You can hinge them like that. I mean, that sort of thing. That's all the kind of stuff that you'll get as you begin working with your pigs. Now, they don't want to get off the ground. Pig, again, because they're really low to the ground, they don't like to get off the ground. So whereas, a cow will load, fairly easy, maybe up a ramp, when pigs leave the ground and they hear that hollow clump, clump, clump sound, say, going up a ramp, they don't like that very much. That's pretty stressful for them. You want to think about your ramp. Ideally, you have a soil ramp, or even a bale of hay that they can jump on, that sort of thing, so they don't actually feel like they're leaving the ground and heading into a space where there's air underneath their feet. Remember that a pig goes up easier than down. It's actually often it's easier to load a pig than it is to unload a pig from a trailer, because they see that going down, and for a pig, again, they're very low center of gravity. It's real awkward for them to step down, but they can jump up. They can do that pretty easily. So make sure that you're not trying to move them down a steep spot. Figure out a way so that they can come either on a level or go uphill rather than down. The secret to moving those pigs is to get them to want to go where you want them to go. And so enticement is better than goading. Anybody that herds cows knows, you can kind of move cows. They've got their flight zone, and you can kind of herd cows along. But a pig is a lot harder to do that to. They'll circle around. It's a lot harder to work that way, especially when you're in a tight spot. You're trying to get them loaded. So enticement is better. Let them get hungry. Throw a scoop of feed out there in the trailer. Grab some leaves, some grass, something, just anything green around their pen or whatever, and toss it in there. Make a trail. Think of Hansel and Gretel, and make a little trail. So they find a nugget here and a leaf here and a leaf here, and before you know it, they've worked on. So enticement is better than goading. Of course, the ideal, and this is why the industry has them, because of all these principles, is a hog moving trailer. And of course, this is a trailer that can raise and lower, so you can drop it on the ground. The pigs can walk at ground level onto it. You drop them, you hit a button hydraulically, it lifts, and then you can move them where you want to. That's that's the ultimate. In fact, Daniel says of all the pieces of equipment we have here at Polyface, the hog mover trailer is absolutely our most valuable piece of equipment. For years and years, we made little ramps and we used trailers and different things to move the pigs. And, we got along, but boy, when we got that hog mover trailer, it just revolutionized everything, because the pigs never have to get off the ground. If you're backing up with like a lowboy trailer, something like that, rather than having that airspace between the bottom of the trailer and the ground that the pigs can see through and sometimes actually run into, just take a bale of hay and put it across that back end. That'll keep the pigs from being able to see a potential escape route, or a route that they might think they can get out of, but they can't. And so they're gonna work at trying to get out of it, even if they can't. So there's no sense in creating that diversion, that distraction on the pigs when you're in the pressure of trying to get them loaded. So go ahead and put a bale of hay across there. I hope by this time you're understanding that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure with these pigs. You want to get your preparation ready. You don't want to go in there half-cocked, we'll back up here halfway and we'll just run them on there. Save yourself. There's no sense in that. Get prepared, get your gates together, get your crowd gates together, get your systems, your sort boards, whatever, make it nice and close so that they can run up. Now, the nice thing about a pig is their gait is fast. So if we're just moving them from paddock to paddock, or we're moving them, from just one part of the farm to another, their gait is actually faster than a cow. They actually just walk. They got little short legs, but they have a much faster gait. So if you can get them kind of on a road, if you can get them headed a direction and have a couple of people, just don't do this by yourself. Bring out the kids and the spouse and friends or whatever, and make a party of it. So you can kind of pocket them in the rear. Pigs can be herded, and their gait is pretty rapid. So you can move them long distances actually as faster than a herd of cows. And they'll kind of go if you can have outriders and just kind of let them pick their way along. If you can get them on a road or a lane, then they go really fast. You'd think they'd squirt off the edges and want to go exploring, but they really don't. They're curious. They want to see what's over the next hill, I guess, or something. And maybe they just can't see the edge of the road, because their eyesight's poor. I don't know. But if you can get them on a lane or a road, even without fences on the edges, they'll pretty much stay in that lane or road, and you can bring them right along as a herd.